Hi guys, Neil Maddox here. For today's presentation, I'm going to be looking at kind of the rebranding of Aeropostale. We'll be looking at where they came from, what issues they're having, and then some ideas for the future. And Aeropostale was one of the top fashion brands in the US during the 2000s, which peaked in 2010 with $2.4 billion in annual sales. And they were one of the top brands that focused on the logo apparel business. And this was one of the great business models because they could charge high prices, or at least high margin prices, to the customers. And the customers were actually paying for the right to market more of the brand to even more potential customers. So it was a huge win for companies like this. And this company in particular had a bit lower prices than the competition, like Abercrombie and Fitch and American Eagle Outfitters. But right now they've fallen on pretty hard times. So in 2010, like I said, they had their peak sales years at $2.4 billion. And in this chart here from CNN Money, you can see how their stock price has dropped drastically in the last 5 years, going down by nearly 89%. So why the big drop off? Well, it's really a product of the entire industry's failure to adapt to the changing teens' preferences. So, for example, teens no longer want the logo-based products like Abercrombie, American Eagle, and other companies sell, but instead they're going towards these places that sell these things called fast fashion type clothing. And as a result, a lot of the market share has gone towards these other companies that are, putting out fashions a lot faster than the other guys can keep up with. And so for fast fashion, not only are the prices cheap, there's a huge selection, and there's also a very quick turnaround on inventory. They'll have new designs out within a week if they see something that people are going to buy. So they call that up-to-the-minute trends. Some examples of this are called H&M, Forever 21, Zara, and also Target does a lot of this type of marketing. So a lot of Aeropostale's problems are a result of their business model being no longer viable. They no longer can sell their logo t-shirts and clothing, and so as a result the promotional business model has completely failed. And like I said before, the fast fashion has really cut into the margins of these retailers, and specifically with Aeropostale, because they're seen more as the discount logo company, whereas like Abercrombie and American Eagle might sell to a bit higher income customer, but Aeropostale is being really hurt by these tight margins that these fast fashion companies are able to produce quicker than they can. And they've also been slow to adopt online sales. And with, iPhones and all the technology out there, online sales are critical to any business. Another problem they're facing is their perception. And they're perceived as kind of a knockoff brand because they do sell cheaper clothes than Abercrombie and American Eagle. And also, 2/3 of their customers are teenage girls ages 14 to 17. And this chart here below shows a ranking of brands that teen girls say they no longer wear. And since 2013, Aeropostale has been the top of that rank. So you can tell that they're in big trouble with their target demographic. So if teens aren't wearing the branded clothes anymore, what are they wearing? Well, you'll see actually that Nike has a large percentage of the clothing share, followed by Forever 21, American Eagle is still up there high, and there's a variety of other brands below those. And some of the more popular brands that are rising in the ranks include Lululemon, Nike, Jordan, and Victoria's Secret. And a lot of athletic brands have been racing up the charts too, because that's what's popular now. People want to wear the athletic type gear rather than the denim stylish things. And teens are also starting to choose technology over clothes. So for example, texting on an outdated smartphone could be way worse than having last season's jeans on. And the spending reflects that as well. So people are spending more money on, getting a cool new iPhone, or maybe phone case accessories, or like the wireless headphones. And also social media is a huge part of the teen landscape these days. And you can see on the chart below that Instagram and Twitter are actually the top two, with Instagram with about 30% of kids saying Instagram is their most important social network. And so with that data, I decided to do a little bit of a comparison between 5 brands just to see where they're at and see if that reflected their market share. And it turns out it really does. So Forever 21 and H&M, those are the fast fashion type companies, and they have a considerably higher number of Instagram followers than the other 3 kind of older companies. But you can see that Aeropostale is actually a little bit more progressive towards Instagram than American Eagle or Abercrombie. And then in terms of spending money, teens actually spend the most money on food. And they spend less time hanging out at the mall and more time, at like the free Wi-Fi cafes or coffee shops or McDonald's or somewhere where there'd be free Wi-Fi so they can check up on their social media. And also shopping online has been a huge trend in the teen sector. And as early as last fall, Aeropostale, decided they needed to do something. Their company was in huge trouble. So they decided to bring back Julian Geiger as a CEO, and he had stepped down in 2010 when they were at their peak, but he has recently come back to the company. And a quote from one of his interviews, he says, "In no way do I think we should be the fashion-following, logo-driven brand that characterized us for many years." And so he's trying to take them in a different direction and build their brand up. But they have a limited time to do that because their sales are falling quickly. So in last year, they closed about 120 stores, and this year they're estimated to close approximately 126 stores. So they're in trouble. In terms of current branding, they've chosen to go with clothing that has fewer logos on it. They decided they'd run a campaign called Aero Now, which got rid of like the old stigma of the entire Aeropostale brand and talks more about what they're doing now rather than looking towards the past. And they also have established a couple sub-brands within the Aero brand, one for girls called Tokyo Darling and one for boys called Brooklyn Calling. And they've also tapped into social media and the blogosphere by hosting a collection by Bethany Moda, who is a popular blogger and YouTube personality with teen girls. And it seems as though what they're doing has helped to a certain extent. So in the year to date, you can see they made a huge jump at the end of February and beginning of March. And overall, their stock is up 32% since the beginning of the year. So it's possible that the efforts they're making have actually worked and their company is making a turnaround. So even though their efforts looks like they might be starting to work, for this class we need to figure out a relaunch plan for the Aeropostale brand. And so I came up with a few goals that we're looking for when launching this campaign. And the first goal is to overcome the stereotypes. So for a long time, Aeropostale has been known as, more of a knockoff brand of some of the big ones like Abercrombie. And so they need to become their own entity. They should no longer be the tired brand of the 2000s, but we should be looking forward to, what today's teens need. And by doing that, we need to connect with these teens and be where they are. So if they're on Instagram, be on Instagram. On YouTube, have a YouTube presence and have a strong online shopping presence. Then also tag some brand advocates, people that can do teen-to-teen marketing so that teens can tell their friends to buy the products. In terms of identity, was thinking more of like a lifestyle brand. And with the peer-to-peer marketing, having like a friend relationship with the consumer, something that provides a good value while still being very fashionable. Something that's cool, popular, and cute. All things that teen girls love. In terms of value, I'm looking at a fair price. There has to be some price negotiation, between the fast fashion and the type of product that this company is going to put out. And we also want an emotional response. So, having a friend recommend the product is a lot better than just saying, as a company, to buy our product. We need to have the friends recommend products to their friends. And then also looking at personalities like Bethany Moda so they can see how cool she is and be cool just like her. So building off the success of the Bethany campaign, I wanted to have an even bigger reach than that. So building an army of advocates for the Aeropostale brand. And to do that, we could identify 50 to 100 teen fashion and lifestyle bloggers or Instagram people that a lot of people follow, YouTube sensations, and have them do promotional, videos or pictures or instructional videos, whatever they do to get their audience interested. And so we can get this message out to, various niche audiences. So maybe these bloggers don't have as big of an audience as some of the huge people like Bethany, but over the course of, if you have 100 teen bloggers talking about it, you can reach a lot of different niches and have a lot bigger expansion. And with these bloggers, have them ask for, some sort of visual engagement. You could have tons of contests or giveaways, freebies for winners of contests, and have, other teens respond to the message that these promoters are putting out. And at the end of everything, just use metrics and figure out which niche audiences perform the best, and then put more resources towards reaching that niche. And so then they can really narrow down their target and, focus on what works with which demographic. So thanks a lot, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I look forward to hearing some feedback. Thanks.